Sixth and seventh graders, we welcome you to our campus. You had an opportunity to tour the site, but nevertheless, if you have any questions, you can always come to me. You can go to Ms. Paquette, you can go to Mrs. Holden. I'm going to show you the office so that you can familiarize yourself with what's up here. So in this office, you're going to find Mrs. Bain, and there's Mrs. Bain. Say hello to Mrs. Bain. And you're also going to find my office. Now let's go down the hallway so that you can see where the attendance office is at. As you go down the hallway out of the main office, to your left, you're going to find the attendance office. When you walk in here, the first thing you're going to find on your left hand side is going to be Mrs. McCarthy's desk. And there is Mrs. McCarthy. Say hello. And across Mrs. McCarthy's desk, you are going to see Mrs. Paquette and Mrs. Holden's office. Okay. Now let's go ahead and go to the library really quickly. Right across from the main office, you are going to find the library. And that's where Mrs. Gagnon is. So there she is. There's Mrs. Gagnon. The library is open during snack and lunch. So students, we welcome you to Matilija Middle School. It's going to be a great year. And it's okay if you're a little nervous. Remember, you can always come and talk to one of us. You can talk to your teachers. Now, you're watching this video during the advisory. So now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. Advisory. This year we're super excited to have this advisory period, which is going to happen every single day of the week with the exception of Wednesday. The advisory is going to be 20 minutes in length. We're also going to be using a program called Second Step, and this is a program that we're going to be using to help us with the lessons of the advisory. It's going to happen right after fourth period, right before lunch. And the advisory is going to be like having your own little team here on campus. And you know, every team needs a mascot. So we're going to go through the process of choosing a mascot. And before we do that though, it is very important for all of us to establish some ground rules and expectations for this advisory. The rules and expectations for the advisory are really not any different than the expectation that you would have in a classroom. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So let's talk about some of the ground rules for advisory, the expectation that we're going to have for every student. You got to be respectful. You got to be respectful of yourself. You got to be respectful of your teacher, and you got to be respectful of your peers in this advisory class. Remember, the advisory is there for you. Be attentive. Try to participate as much as you can. We really want you to benefit from this program, and the more you participate, the better it's going to be for yourself and the class. Also, if you have a question, very respectfully, you got to raise your hand. Don't blur out the answers. Your teacher might have some additional expectations for this advisory, but I like to reemphasize that it's for you. The advisory will benefit you, and we want you to try to participate as much as you can. So now is the time for your class to choose a mascot. For example, here at Matilija, we are the Matilija Eagles. So what would your teacher and the rest of your class to choose a mascot that's going to represent your class for the rest of the school year? Okay? Mr. Eagle says, have fun with it. Right, Mr. Eagle? See? Enjoy. So now you're going to work with the rest of your class to come out with a mascot. The mascot can be anything. So be creative on what or who you want to use to represent your advisory. Everyone's input is going to be very important for this part, and your teacher is going to have the final decision on who or what, again, you guys want to use as a mascot to represent your advisory for the rest of the school year. For this activity, your teacher is going to break down the class into groups of 4 or 5. Once you get in your group, one piece of paper per group, and then we need somebody in your group to be in charge of writing the things that every group member has in common. So the goal is to get 5 things that everybody in your team, in your group, have in common. So for example, perhaps everybody in your team plays basketball, so you will write that down, that they play basketball. Perhaps you guys have other siblings, so you will write that down. So the goal again is to get 5 things that every group member in your group, they have in common, and be ready to share that with the class, okay? Enjoy and have fun with it.